2, 1. Alright. Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Good evening, everyone. Lumalaki yung grupo ng GWIACA. So, this is the session 3 of the continuing conversation with Ate Lily P. So, this is session 3. And today we have more guests. One from Bohol and one from Cebu City. From Cebu City, I will introduce Mr. Wilfredo Menorias, an aspiring conscious entrepreneur. Tama ba, Kuya?
Yes. Yeah, that's the way forward.
Gusto mo ba yung title na yun? Aspiring conscious entrepreneur?
No.
And he will join us in the discussion today after the synthesis presentation of Ate Lily. And my wife, Dr. Mila Paredes, will introduce the very good doctor from the beautiful island of Bohol.
So Dr. Maria Asuncion Halad went to Christ the King Academy in Bohol. She also studied at Veles College and Cebu Institute of Medicine. She's married to Dr. Loy Halad. Doctora and her husband is a good friend of ours. They are also a volunteer of SHEM, Self-Help Empowerment Movement, where we go to barangays and different places that need us. She's also with the Family and Life Apostolate, FLA, Marriage and Family Counseling. So just before this, she also had a training, facilitators training in LOJ Couples Light Group.
Light of Jesus.
So she's really busy.
Yeah. So wala po, hindi obvious sa edad na very busy si Doktora. So magandang gabi po sa iyo, Dr. Halad.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening. Okay.
Thank you for the invitation.
Of course, yeah. Tagal ka na namin hinahagilap. Akala ko busy. Busy ka naman talaga. And of course, I would like now to ask our beloved Ate Lily P. Tawag ko sa kanya Lily P. And she has been leading this conversation for the past 3 weeks already. At umiinit ang usapan about GWIACA. At nag-evolve din po yung meaning. Kung dati GWIACA means growth with intention amidst crisis and apprehension, ngayon iba na. Growth with intention amidst that. Ate Lily will talk more about that. So Ate Lily, take it away.
Okay. Yeah. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
I-play mo, Ate Lily, yung PowerPoint mo. Yan. Para mas malaki.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc, for the introduction. And hi, Dr. Halad and Bradley. Now, yeah, the title has really changed. As we say, di ba? Nag-evolve siya. Okay? It's GWIACA now with acknowledging challenges and AQ. Okay? We'll get to the AQ later on. Now, well, basically, before we start, I'd like to add to my self-introduction because, you know, I use certain terms that are not very familiar, you know, when one would introduce oneself. I already explained a little bit of the cosmic, okay, and I'd like to explain further on the missionary identity that I'd like to be emphasized, okay. I guess it started when I asked these 2 questions, you know, whenever I make career decisions, okay? The cosmic question is what makes sense, you know? What is more important rather than asking the next question, what makes sense, you see? So, and in my case, I asked the first question first, that cosmic question. Now, being a missionary has been inspired not just by, you know, my own experience, but also by the experiences of others. Dr. IWAMURA was our sponsor to master studies. He's the sole survivor of Hiroshima bombing, you know, within a kilometer radius. I quoted here, you know, from his biography, and he's a disaster survivor. It's not even a question of crisis. We know what Hiroshima bombing did, to Japan. Okay, now, and I'm learning so much because he survived for 60 years, but of course with certain choices like considering that he may have the radiation and the radioactivity, inside his system, he and his wife decided not to have children, but instead adopted Nepali children who are orphaned because of tuberculosis. At that time, TB is still very incurable. Now, further, there were many of us that IHI sponsored. I already said before, IHI means International Human Resources Institutes Network, okay? I belong to the third batch. And some of these friends are coming from other places. They are Nepali, Japanese, Thai. Okay. And much further, being a cosmic missionary was nurtured by more people in my life. After masteral studies, I went to Africa, wanting to serve the mission there. But I was still an NGO person that time. It took 3 years before I decided to help the church on full time. Now, there were other people instrumental to shape me up as a missionary. And so one of the things that I can say, and this is pointer number 1, because there would be 7 pointers that I'll be sharing here. First is about role clarity. We already said before, you should know who you are. And for learning from the experience of others, whom I consider role models, would help me also. As we say, a person's background and early encounters influence his or her major decisions and choices later, in life, especially adverse experiences during crisis times that are imprinted into our long-term memory. Now, in this present crisis, we can be the same, to other people. We can do certain decisions, take certain decisions and do certain action that would influence the future of others to survive as we are already surviving as well. Okay. Now, we move fast. As we said, this is our style in this session. We try to move fast with certain tools. Okay, we already explained this in sessions 1 and 2. And there are online viewers whom I was able to, talk with and interview, really probe, not just I wasn't contented with just, 1-liner or 2-liners in terms of comment, because basically what we are doing is like prototyping, exploring something new as an approach in social media. And these are some of their comments, okay? I interviewed Nilda, okay? She has been an OFW for so long and is also very active in the church. Well, she said that listening to the sessions is a nice pause and reflection time for her. Yeah, because crises really are opportunities for growth. And she likes the tips and the acronyms because they're very helpful, very compact, substantive, and yet in simple forms, okay? Then there's Feli. She's also operating as a global capacity building person, a senior manager of Outreach International, is an international NGO. And she's very active in the COVID interventions now. Well, she said that even the title itself, made her reflect. It's a little bit, mouthful, but if you really take time to reflect, you get something out of it. Then the materials that we have generated can be used for psychosocial interventions, for therapeutic help for some people in crisis. And the presentation can also serve as reference materials, okay? Gina, she's also operating globally. Well, she talked about the balancing act in life, when people have become so materialistic for a long time and suddenly now we have to stop and reflect and, change our ways, okay? To be more balanced in life. Henry Salutan is a good family friend. And it's really amazing how he made, an in-depth reflection on the Gui Aka session that we had. He even reflected on the sign language that we had, okay? He said it made him reflect on our spiritual existence, okay? God's original intention is for man to grow and multiply, but because of the fall of Adam, crisis started to occur, okay? The crossing of the fingers, as a sign language, can be interpreted in the following manner. The connect for positivity is connecting with the just and loving God, who is the source of all wealth and health, okay? The interpretation and the details are here in the PowerPoint anyway we'll be sharing. And then the curbing of negativity is to follow Jesus on the cross, okay, when we cross 2 fingers, because he took all the blame and the shame for us to be saved. Okay, and if we follow the cross, we die from our sinful nature and restore the fear of God, to its original reverential intention. Then we'll be able to face the crisis with hope and a victory mindset. And he quoted this particular Psalm 112, verses 1 to 8. Now, Leo, he's a community organizer and team leader of the Relief and Rehabilitation Unit here in Cebu. And it's the same thing. He also reflected on the positivity and the negativity of the situation, and he looks at it more positively, and even said that it allows us, this lockdown allows us to grow in God's plan, okay? And we may come out, anew, like a caterpillar to become pupa and metamorphose into a beautiful butterfly, okay? All for God's glory. Sister Lumen is a Carmelite, tertiary. I also asked her, and she said that our videos are very informative and nice to watch. And in particular, she likes the sharing of what we did here in the house, wherein we met and, came together and planned and did something together. Because as she said, it has been a common occurrence that some families experience more tension, more misunderstanding because of the crisis. So it can be, a good example for the others. Then Christine, Tintin, she saw that this is really for mental health and collective efforts, because we need to help each other, but also prepare ourselves, How can we help others if we ourselves, are wind down, like confused, okay? And similarly with the others, he said that Viaka makes her reflect. And Dr. Pamela Fernandez, our scientist friend, and a thinker, a visionary as well, this is what she said, in this COVID crisis, people are expressing their feelings more, and with all the labels and the concepts that we are, presenting, it can be a little bit heavy in the head for some people. But if like-minded and like-hearted people would follow the flow of ideas and insights, then perhaps something helpful would come out in the collective sense, okay? So we hope for that. And Ruby, she's an executive consultant. She really hit the mark when she said that adversity is the greatest teacher. Without even me sharing that the GUIACA acronym will change, and adversity would feature in, she hit that particular concept. And we should also need to grow in our faith, because the lessons of this pandemic would go to waste if we not grow amidst adversity. And VENETTE, she's my sister, a designer, a survivor in the business, okay? She said that there's so much of this negativity around, you know, the conspiracy theory and all this. But she thinks that all the more when things are difficult to understand, all the more it's important to put God into the center stage of our lives, because it's the only truth that matters. And the Viaka process that we did at home helped her. Okay, so that's all for the sharing of these people. And basically, they affirmed many of the things that we have shared and even made suggestions on how we can go further if ever we'll use this in other contexts. Okay, Doc? Do you have any other, Doc?
Ano pala ako?
Yes, Doc. Yeah.
All right. So, Dr. Halad, you have been attending the session 1 and the session 2, and then you asked for the PowerPoint presentation of Ate Lily, and I promise you to give you all the PowerPoint, including this PowerPoint, this session. So, Dr. Halad, please share to our viewers, as a medical doctor based in Bohol, please share your insights, your synthesis on not only on the sessions, but on your own personal point of view, how you are growing with intention amidst crisis and apprehension. Yeah.
Good evening, Doc, and Dr. Mila, and everybody, Ate Lily. For this pandemic, I really learned more things, especially with our mission as we grow in spite of this pandemic, in spite of this, at the midst of our condition as of the present. I just thank God that I was able to attend, especially our chief program, Doc. That
Healthy
just,
program.
yeah, because in that program, we do not only think as a physician, we do not only think of our physical health, but also it is we approach a person as a whole.
As a whole.
A person with a body, with a soul, and we have to develop the person as a whole, mentally, spiritually, physically, socially, emotionally. And it has helped me grow as a person and as a missionary in treating our patients. So I see when the patient comes, I see her or him as a person as a whole. As what you have said, we do not only treat the patient with the symptoms, but we have to treat the cause. So this time, I think it is very important for people to be concerned not only of this virus, but also we have to be, we have to think of how to especially boosting our immune system, our God-given immune system, because this is the best way. I think it's the best way to combat this virus, which we do not see as a, there are still many pharmaceuticals or drug companies that are trying to develop cures for this disease or whatever. And for me, what is very important is our faith, first of all, above all, our faith in God, that God will protect us from this infection. And we also have to do our part as by making ourselves healthy, by eating the right diet, exercise, by socialization is also very important. Just like us, no, we are separated from our daughter and her family by distance because of this. We cannot go visit them, and they cannot also visit us. But I just thank God also for this. This, for example, this one virtual, this Zoom or mga video calls, because in spite of the distance, we can still communicate with each other. And I really believe that our relationship is also very important. And as in spite of this condition, our present condition, we still connect with our, especially with our groups in the church, and also with our family and our other relatives in other places. So I really thank God for still thankful. I'm still thankful in spite of this, what is happening at present, because there is still we still learn something from this. And for us, since we are the only two of us here in our house.
Where is Doc? Ano? Nandyan siya?
He just left, Doc.
He just left.
We had our gardening in the home. That's what we call us faith. Food always in the home.
The home.
Yeah, and it's also very timely, because we shifted also already to plant-based diet.
Wow.
So it's that we do not worry so much with our where to buy, we can just get the food around our house. Yeah, we grow our own food, vegetables, the fruits, and so at least it helps us also. And for me, very important also to shift to the plant-based diet, right, Doc?
Yes.
So that's what we are practicing now, and it really helped. As what you have, as what you know, I'm asthmatic, and thank God since
Now
that
no more.
no more. Praise the Lord.
Drug-free ka na. Drug-free ka na.
Yeah. yung spray, no more.
No more.
Yeah, praise the Lord. Yes, thanks God.
Okay.
Yes, and I have to continue with this. And thank you very much for, aside from these tips, I also thank Ate Lily for the spiritual and the mental learning that I learned from this. Thank you so much for doing this, Doc and Dr. Amela. And I know so many people will learn from this activity of yours. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Halad. And stay with us until 6:57. That is our time frame. Because we will at the latter part we will open again a conversation among all of us who are now in Zoom. Okay, Doctora? So wag ka muna malis. So at this point, I would like to ask Will Menorias again to share to us his insights about this ongoing conversation and about the growth with intention amidst crisis and apprehension that continues to evolve in its meaning. Yes, sir.
I'd just like to thank you, Doc, again for this opportunity to, to be able to share our personal journeys as we face this crisis that we are, that no one is exempted. So lahat tayo ngayon, walang mayaman, mahirap in this crisis because we are all facing this as, as we are as we exist right now. Pero the thing that really struck me the most is that, despite the fact that, how much we see the virus, yes, it's very real and it's there. But there are two, I would say, there are two reactions that, that how the public respond. There is a scare response, especially yung 4 stages kung ano yung response natin ngayon sa with this pandemic. And there is on the side of being proactive in terms of our health, not just more on more on the, of course we follow health protocols. Recently I just went to Cebu. Of course I have to wear my face mask.
You went to Wellness Land.
Yeah, I went to Wellness Land. I was walking there, Doc. I was walang tao. So, and to me, I don't know, but my personal experience is parang nagiging bold ako, parang nagiging I'm not saying that I don't have any fear, even 10% siguro, but most of what I feel during this pandemic is really itest ko nga tong immune system ko kung saan talaga ako. Kung saan
Pero nagmamask ka naman.
Oh, nagmamask naman, of course. Nagmask. Nagmask, tapos may face shield pa.
O kasi huliin ka ng pulis.
Oh, kasi mahuli tayo ng pulis. Alam ko naman kasi naging aktivista ako noon. So, alam ko kung ano yung mga kalakalan tungkol sa mga, mga legal matters. So, but then again, I started to ponder, amidst the crisis, how are we becoming? How am I becoming during this crisis? Ano yung parang naging development ko sa sarili ko, or ano yung naging realization, sabihin na natin na realization. It's really that, number one, while most of the pharmaceutical industries or pharmaceutical companies, there are about 140 applicants of, developing a vaccine. And right now, according to WHO, I'm not sure if this is the latest because may Russia, na ngayon, that there are 4 companies na nakaka-advance in terms of, the potential na maging approved by the WHO. 2 company from China, 1 company from US, and 1 company from, 1 company from the UK. In my understanding, in my personal opinion, I'm on the 20th century, and right now we are in the 21st century. There has never been a time in history na na-imbento yung mga drugs, mga ano pa yan. I mean drugs like medicines or vaccines, but there was also never been a time in history that the epidemic of lifestyle diseases has been very, very prevalent. So meaning to say, we've been putting a solution, like a solution na, this is just my opinion, drugs or whatever medicines, but the problem is ever increasing. So just imagine obesity has raised for the last 10 years in the Philippines for 400%. So can you imagine and this obesity disease is just, is a metabolic problem that happens in our systems. And I came across with lifestyle medicine, functional medicine, and understanding that this is not just a problem of person getting fat, but this is a problem that happens really in the body. So why am I bakit ko in-emphasize ang point na ito? Because to me, the first line of defense is our immune system.
Just
so every day, Yeah, the first line of defense is our immune system. I was there in my lifestyle way back, I would, mga 3 years ago in the BPO industry na, alam mo naman sa BPO, yung sa IT park, when you face to the left, Jollibee. When you face to the right, KFC.
When
In
you
your
face it
front,
front,
there is McDonald's. And on the other side, there is Ginabut. There is, and when you walk 50 meters, 100 meters from the IT park, there is Tonyos where there's liquor, there is, and it really started my wellness journey because I developed a very severe constipation, and that's what led me to Wellness Land. So, you know, my statement is, our lifestyle modification is much more important than the development of vaccine, and history will prove this to be right. And thirdly, the thing that also has happened during this time, especially with this pandemic, is the disruption of many industries. You know, yung service industry, napakarami ng mga company na nag-declare ng bankruptcy. While at the same time, we're also seeing the environment getting better. So, to me, it's a good sign that in the environment is becoming better. And at the same time, how can we sustain our society in terms of economic growth? So, based also on my personal observations and studies, there are businesses that thrive these days. For example, i-endorse ko na lang ito, yung human nature. You know, these are good business models that we need to support because aside from its environmental, it's also helping a lot of people in terms of their livelihood, and it's not toxic. So my point is, can we push our economic policies, especially in the country, that we grow without the cost of the environment and without the cost of human health? It's very important. I was in the environment summit last year, and I hear the chairman of First Philippine Holdings, Federico Lopez, speaking about you know, economic growth, enlightened capitalism or whatever, conscious entrepreneurship, and like that. So for me, this pandemic is you know, is a good this is a good event that happened in a way that we can reshift from the macro level, maybe the government policies, but also in our personal level. Like for example, right now I become more conscious on, for example, what produce I buy. For example, the food, saan ba galing ito? Ilang emissions ng mga gasolina ang ginamit para dumating to sa Cebu. So I look more on local. Ano ba yung mga local na nakikita ko na pagkain? Because that's more local and in season. That's more good for us. So in terms of our health. And lastly, personally, in terms of growth, the pandemic has really provided me with a more profound sense of you know, understanding with life. Because whether we like it or not, there are two kinds of reality. Yung reality na 1 + 1 = 2, tapos yung reality na I will vote for this president, tapos sa'yo, iba yung president mo, tapos pareha kayong tama. So 1 + 1 = 2, it's an absolute truth. But itong mga preferences natin is relative. It can be based sa gusto mo, korsonada, or sa conditioning mo. But to me, I start to pay more attention on things that we can all agree on. For example, yung tubig is H2O. When we breathe the oxygen, hindi mo naman masabi na oxygen ko yan, oxygen mo to. Diba? So when we see nature, hindi mo masabi na itong parte ng nature akin to, itong parte ng nature sa'yo yan. Tapos when we inhale, exhale, hindi mo pa sabi na ang oxygen na yan ay oxygen ng ibang tao. Meaning to say, I started to develop a more sense of wholeness and oneness with, you know, with what you see around you. Kasi napakaraming mga drama sa buhay. Yung mga psychological drama, yung mga ano pa yung mga nakikita mo sa balita, yung mga PhilHealth na mga corruption, tapos it triggers your activism, especially ako. Pero
So ngayon, hindi na natitrigger.
nandyan pa rin, Doc, but I started to be more understanding to myself.
Okay.
Why I respond this way.
Okay.
Hindi yung kasi sila they're causing me to be like this, they're causing me to be hysterical, like the same as how I do before. But this time I ask myself, why do I respond this way? What led me to respond this way?
Okay.
So nag-dissolve yung mga past na mga ideas and mga conditioning, and really it's been more profound to me than ever.
Very good. Thank you, Willie, for the profound insights that you have shared tonight. So, we're going back to Ate Lily for the 7 tips. Meron siyang isi-share na mga 7 tips. So, napansin niyo po, mahilig kami sa 7. So, si Ate Lily na lang mag-explain. Bakit mahilig kami sa 7? 37 minutes, session 1, session 2, 47, ngayon 57. But maybe we can break our rules today. We'll see. Okay, Ate Lily.
Okay. Before I proceed, I'd like to respond to what Brother Willie and Dr. said. Basically kasi, like parang may cleansing effect, may detoxification effect. Itong nangyari sa lockdown, no? We had to stop and, not just physically or individually, but collectively, globally. And then the environment, is cleansed. Now, if you apply, there's a particular mathematical concept called fractal. If you apply fractal thinking, what is in the micro is also in the macro and even larger system. Now, what we observe in ourselves physically is also parallel happening, in the larger system. So in a way, what's happening to us may even give us, like more realizations of what to do in the larger society, we hope. Okay, now let's go to pointer number 2. Okay, we already said that we're going to journey, and as we journey, there's transformation. Okay, why? Because evolving process of life is a fact. Evolution is a fact. I remember sometimes there are debates before, like between the Big Bang theory and the evolutionary theory, but it has been proven by science now. Evolution even is a God-given process. I remember Dr. Mila was asking me, why are you called Ate? Why do you prefer to be called Ate? Because Ate is actually an acronym which I prefer, because I'm advocating theistic evolution. It's evolution considering that God, has given us this opportunity and the free will, but given the natural processes, we are guided and we grow towards the positive. Okay. Now, in our sessions, we already tackled the asterisk, and that's the goal, the intention for growth. In the second session, we said, the plus sign, the positivity that we want to promote, because the crisis is very negative, at the quick glance. But if you dig deeper, there's so many opportunities for change and improvement. And in this session, we'll tackle the exclamation point. Okay. It's like saying, with finality, what to do. Okay, pointer number 3, embodiment of the message. You see, with this mindset that we have, the growth mindset, and we are so conditioned probably to negativity and to the old ways, how do we effectively register the message into our system? And science have shown that one way, and it's not just even science, practical, proof, is to register the message into our body, okay? So we use even the crossing of the fingers, guiaka, you know, to mean we connect for positivity and curb the negativity. Claim to aim to strengthen the lane. Okay, so the witness, the strengthening of the lane is not just on ourselves, but on the larger systems beyond us. Okay, and then as we cross our fingers, we say, gui, you know, it's like an expression of freedom, you know, freedom from the old ways and the non-essentials. Okay, the 4H in the, you know, has a meaning also. We already explained that before because these are the issues highlighted in this crisis. The issue of hygiene, health, holiness, and holistic wellness. And holistic wellness means the total system, okay? And then, as we do our best, we also let go, let God, and follow the cross, okay? Now, following the cross, well, we already know what this means to us, but we also try to analyze, you know, the cross itself would mean connectivity, you know, with the divine, with the human, and when we talk about human elements, the 360, you know, full circle. Your peers, your family, people who can give you the tips and ideas on how to deal with the crisis, the resources you need, you know, for the interventions that must be done. Okay, and then after this, we face our crossroads. Okay, I'm using this symbol, you know, it's like bird, you know, flying. You're facing your hands, so you face the problems, but so you can fly. Okay. Now, when you face, oh no, this is now the pointer number 4. I'm just, you know, making all these acronyms again, so it really registers into our system, in the mind, and then with the action, it's easier to remember. Faith in God, not fear. Acknowledge both challenges in the crisis, and of course, your own strength to deal with the crisis. Confront the problems and issues if and when needed, because there are some issues that you need to accept, you know. There are mysteries to unfold, not just problems to be solved, okay? And expect growth, you know, positively. New science have already shown this, that the intensity of your intentionality, you know, and even the emotion you put into your vision would really create that emotion, the energy, you know, towards achievement. And then last time, we showed a magazine saying that the cross heals us. And then, you know, in one of my contemplations, it just came out, even the word cross, it encompasses, you know, crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus, but it is our sanctification and salvation, you know. So it's like a path that can help us in the here and now and the in life after. The 5th, of course, you know, when there is crisis, you try to manage, and we already gave all these tips in the 2nd session. Now, these are just reminders, and somebody, I think one of the online viewer that I have interviewed said that, oh, this is just like the problem-solving approach that we do. You just you put it in the memory device that can easily be remembered. But basically, this is just the problem-solving, you know, process that we do. Now, pointer number 6, this is now again our mindset, okay? When we said we have the growth mindset, what else do we need? We have that positive view, okay? What else do we need, okay? Non-dualistic thinking, okay? Just an example, and this I learned from my African mission. One theologian said that the sacred is the depth of the secular. We used to say that this is body, this is spirit, and so, you know, they are separable. So we even have the separation of church and state, you know, that kind of dualistic, you know, approach to look at things. But you see, it's not all black and white. There are so many nuances in between and the gray, you know, shades. And so it's important that we consider, you know, the integral nature of reality and of things. So, for example, just an example, even the word faith, you know, we can say if it's just the secular, we just say there's food always in the house or the home, as Dr. said, no? But when you go deeper, you know, it's God Almighty inside your heart. You cannot even see it, okay? Now, what I'm just saying is just a corny example, you know, but what we are saying in non-dualistic thinking is, you know, these dichotomies, this separation, you know, you and me, us and them, you know, that kind of thing, that is even challenged now. It's just physical distancing that we need, but not social distancing, because we need to be all the more connected this time, okay? And then pointer number 7 is about how we learn, you know. For a long time in social development, we use action, reflection, action. We say the ARA cycle, you know. After the action, you learn what are the successes and failures and lessons, and then you evolve into a better form of action. But all the more now we're seeing that contemplation is necessary. You know, the silence, when we have to communicate, not just among ourselves, but with the divine, you know. We try to connect and have that quiet moment wherein we can really talk and listen to God, okay? However you conceive God to be. That's very important. Now, because, you know, the spiral, yeah, if you start doing this cycle, it will spiral to higher and higher level of consciousness and awareness. And such awareness would lead you to a better form of action. Okay. So, and then as just a reviewer, as you handle the action, you have all these tips, okay? Of course, you understand that what is the crisis, express your feelings, you know, especially among yourselves, so you can understand better and be more compassionate, be more empathetic. Assess yourself and the team. Now, this particular tool was given to us. It's very easy to use, you know. If you notice, there are 3 stages there, okay? And there are questions for each stage. This is just, you know, a list of the questions. On the stage of fear, you have all these indicators of fear. You can use this like a questionnaire, you know, check which one applies to you. So you can score yourself on the fear side. Then you also try to score yourself on the learning side, and then on the growth side, and see where you are, you know, situated more. Somehow it helps. I remember one of our members here who realized that she was really more on the fear side, but majority of the team is already on the learning side. So, you know, she tried to adjust, and just in 2 months' time, you can see the big difference. And then once you realize what you still need to evolve further to a higher level, intend to grow, okay? This is actually the framework we used, yeah? And well, it covers basically the various dimensions of personhood of a person. If you want to do fractal thinking and apply this, you know, in a larger setting, then that could also be possible, so that you can see the ecological aspects, the political aspects, the social and the economic aspects. But we won't go that far because we were just talking about the family setting here. But of course, our framework, if you see in the second session, we tried to stretch, you know, people's awareness that it's not just the personal, the family, the household, but also the society, the planet, and even the larger cosmos. And then, once you have all those realization, plan and prepare ahead, okay? With a more positive view, in a very motivational way, especially among yourselves as a team. And of course, implement your plans as usual, monitor and evaluate when you manage something, and celebrate your wins, big or small, along the way. It's very important because you have to grow your AQ, means adversity quotient, okay? Now, I only realized recently that has been a lot of literature already on adversity quotient. And we can even show you a video, okay? He's the founder of...
So what is this thing called AQ, your adversity quotient? Well, the short version is it's the global gold standard for being able to measure through the AQ profile and measurably improve through the AQ training and programs and solutions. The most important thing, which is who you are and how you respond to the tough stuff. AQ is a measure of your hardwired pattern of response to adversity. And being able to improve that can have a radical effect on your performance, productivity, problem solving, innovation, your energy, verve, quality of life, even your longevity and overall health. So AQ is the closest we have to true bedrock of human endeavor, kind of an epicenter of human effectiveness.
Okay, so AQ is adversity quotient. We're more familiar with IQ, intelligence quotient, EQ, emotional quotient, and there's even this, social quotient. Now, adversity, because we are already in this age of complexity and chaos, volatility and uncertainty, and it's very important that we would know how to adjust. So the word adaptability and resilience, are coming out. These words are coming out more often in conversations, and AQ, is one, we say, important aspect that we need to really learn more about. Okay, so I would encourage all of us to try to dig deeper into this and see how this can be adapted to our situation, to your situation. In school, they're already using this. This particular source here that I'm using, is a document from the University of the Philippines. Okay. And so we can say, finally, we aka. Thank you.
Oh, ang ganda naman ng last, So, I would like now to ask Dr. Halad and Dr. Wilfredo Menorias. Nakapagkamalan talaga kita.
Soon to be Doctor of Public Health. Na.
Ayun. So much learnings. Thank you, Ate Lily. Nag-evolve na yung meaning ng growth with intention amidst crisis and apprehension ng session 1. Ngayon, session 3 na. Patapos na tayo. Growth with intention, acknowledging challenges, and adversity quotient. Oh, sabi nga ni Ate Lily, aka. Okay. Nga? So,
if I may add, yeah, if we want to see that the sacred is the depth of the secular, okay, we're using the word challenges, acknowledging challenges and adversity quotient. Well, if I may put the sacred into the picture, and which is really my own bias, I will say acknowledging Christ.
Acknowledging Christ.
Your adversity quotient. Oh. And I would suggest that you take a look at that video suggested in the second session about the cosmic Christ. Okay?
All right. Thank you, Ate Lily. So at this point, I would like to ask some parting message From Dr. Halad.
I,
Parting message na tayo because I look at that time almost 57 na tayo. So anyway, Dr. Halad.
Thank you for this very informative lecture series, Ate Lily. And for me, as we continue with this present condition of ours, it is very important, first of all, to put Christ or God at the center of our life. And as we journey through these years, or I hope it will not go beyond years, and we have to grow in spite of this pandemic. We have to grow with our as a total person, with intention, with a mission. In spite of our condition, we still have the mission to help our fellow men also to develop themselves. And as for this adversity quotient also, it is important that we have to strengthen our not only our immune system, but also strengthen our faith in the Lord. And with all this, I know we can surpass this condition of ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Halad. Thank you. Okay, Will, parting words.
First of all, I want to again thank you, Ate Lily, for your very informative, at the same time very accommodating to how we humans learn. You know, for your presentations and your facilitation, I would say, for the for these three program. It was really very informative, and at the same time, it also has affirmed to me that for example, if there's something that you would want to learn, you use a language which is Gui Aka. It's really very important. Based on my previous trainings when I was in the BPO industry, we normally use that. But so much for that. My message really is to the watching public. I'm not in a privileged speech, but I'm sharing my journey. Life starts when you begin to wonder and when you start to question. I'm not saying, because I have an orientation of being an activist, so I really normally question things, but not in a way right now that you would question bakit ganito, bakit ganito, but you would ask yourself that amidst this crisis, what is it that, where is my life heading? Where is, what's my direction? What's my intention? Why am I here? What is this all for? Bakit nag-conversation pa tayo sa Zoom ngayon? What is this all for? And it's really, for me, in my experience, is that it's really about, the divine. The divine is there. No matter how you conceive him to be, the divine, the existence, however what form you may think or believe that existence to be, but the divine is real, and the divine is within. So meaning to say, if the divine is within, and if we are created in His own image, and if God is love, then therefore you are love. The most powerful antidote to any disease, to any adversity, to any crisis is love. So you affirm you are loved, you become more compassionate, and things flow in your diet, in your personal choices, in your thought patterns, and in the way you can converse with others. So amidst this crisis, although there's a lot of division happening and noises all around us, with the noise in the news, but love is the greatest of all things, and it it really it encompasses everything beyond religion, beyond political party, beyond beyond race. So therefore, kung nahihirapan ka sa buhay mo, kung ano yung sa mga kasagutan na gusto mong malaman, ang isagot mo lang magmahal. Dahil kailanman hindi naging mali ang magmahal. Yun lang po.
Hindi ka na maging preacher, kuya. Alright, at this point, I would like to ask my lovely wife, Dr. Milagros Paredes, to
Okay.
have a final share.
Okay. So, whatever wars we have right
Yes.
now, some are struck with the virus, some have inner battles in the mind, some have marital issues, some have no jobs. So regardless of what the outcome, so we don't know. So it is important to adopt a growth mindset, a victorious mindset. So we have to be resourceful, we have to be creative, learn new skills, and then watch Facebook like this, YouTube's, right? And then how can we spring to victory? Like what Ate Lily said, this is to remind us, gwi aka. Trust God and in the process.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Milagros Paredes. And final remarks, Ate Lily. Para graduation. Final remarks.
Yeah. Well, I can
Closing
say that,
remarks. Ikaw ang closing remarks.
I can say that this symbol is starting to even have some theological meaning to me. You know, it was started by Brother Henry, but I'm seeing now that I really researched that this is a good symbol to use. So I can say, embody the message into our system. Gui aka, let go, let God.
Sabay.
Okay. All together.
Gui
Gui
aka.
aka.
Ayan. Ipauso ko dyan ang buhok,
Do your best.
Gui
Let's go.
aka.
Do your best.
Do your best.
Let go.
Let go.
Go.
Let God.
Let God
Follow your cross.
Follow your
follow
cross.
my cross
And face your crossroads.
and
your
face
your
my
crossroads.
crossroads.
Okay, God bless us all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you to our
Thank
viewers.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.